Welcome once again to Commander by Danon. Recently, I did a video on the new Atraxa, and pretty much everyone agrees that though she's fun, she's nowhere near as powerful as the original. And since we've gotten so many cards in the last year that work well with Planeswalkers, I decided that she warranted another look. So today's video is a no-budget Atraxa Superfriends deck. But before we get started, I'd like to quickly ask you to like and subscribe. It really does help the channel, and it's free. With that out of the way, let's get into the video. Atraxa Praetors Voice is a 4-mana, 4/4 legendary angel horror with flying, vigilance, death touch, and lifelink. At the beginning of our end step, we proliferate. Pretty straightforward and extremely powerful. Now, I stated earlier that this would be a no-budget list. The reason for this is that most Planeswalkers are mythic, and the good ones range from $15 to $30. But we're not running any cards from the reserved list. Additionally, with two exceptions, all of our cards are under $50. So we want Planeswalkers, we want to proliferate, and we want to keep our Planeswalkers safe. We also want lots of ways to take out the Immortal Sun, because our deck ceases to function if that card stays on board. Our goal here isn't really to win the game so much as it is to make the other players quit the game. We are the villains, and we will use the power of the spark and our wallets to make everyone miserable. But before we get to our deck list, we should keep in mind our checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp. 10 pieces of card advantage. 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal. 2 to 3 board wipes. 2 pieces of graveyard hate. 1 sudden I win card. Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Karn's Bastion, Windswept Heath, Flooded Strand, Polluted Delta, Misty Rainforest, Marsh Flats, Verdant Catacombs, Arid Mesa, Wooded Foothills, Scalding Tarn, Bloodstained Mire, Spara's Headquarters, Rafine's Tower, Indatha Triome, Zagoth Triome, Temple Garden, Hallowed Fountain, Watery Grave, Breeding Pool, Godless Shrine, Overgrown Tomb, Bountiful Promenade, Sea of Clouds, Morphic Pool, Rejuvenating Springs, Vault of Champions, Undergrowth Stadium, 2 forests, 2 plains, 2 islands, and 2 swamps. Smothering Tithe, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Mirari's Wake, 3 Visits, Farseek, Nature's Lore, Burgeoning, Exploration, Skyshroud Claim, Rampant Growth, Conduit of Worlds, and Crucible of Worlds make up our mana ramp. Tezzeret's Gambit, Contentious Plan, Search for Glory, Demonic Tutor, Vampiric Tutor, Mystical Tutor, Windfall, Teferi's Ageless Insight, and Azuri Stalker of Spheres make up our card advantage package. Disenchant, Naturalize, Return to Nature, Vanishing Verse, Fracture, Despark, and Mortify make up our spot removal package. Farewell, Vanquish the Horde, Cyclonic Rift, The Meathook Massacre, and Toxic Deluge all help to clear the board. Narset Parter of Veils, Ashiok Dreamrender, Ugin the Spirit Dragon, Teferi, Master of Time, Tamio, Completed Sage, Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, Elspeth, Sun's Champion, Teferi, Time Raveler, Tevish Zat, Doom of Fools, Liliana, Dreadhorde General, Ajani, Strength of the Pride, Tamio, Collector of Tales, Tasha, the Witch Queen, Elminster, Ajani, Sleeper Agent, Vraska, Betrayal Sting, and Kaya, Intangible Slayer make up our Super Friends. The Chain Veil, Oath of Teferi, Evolution Sage, Doubling Season, Vorinclex Monstrous Raider, Spark Double, Sword of Truth and Justice, Flux Channeler, Inexorable Tide, Icarmoon Gauntlet, Staff of Completion, and Tekuthal Inquiry Dominus all help to support our plan. Now that we have our deck list, we should compare it to our checklist. 50 mana sources split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp. Right on target. 21 pieces of card advantage, counting our planeswalkers. 14 pieces of interaction. 5 board wipes, plus 3 more from planeswalkers. 3 pieces of graveyard hate. 1 Sudden I Win card in Doubling Season. No, seriously, if Doubling Season is on board when we cast any of our planeswalkers, we should be able to ultimate them right off the bat. And most planeswalkers in this deck have game-ending ultimates. In most decks, we don't judge a planeswalker on its ultimate because you can rarely get it to that point. But with Doubling Season, a card like Teferi, Hero of Dominaria enters the battlefield with 8 loyalty counters, which means we can ultimate him as soon as he comes down. This deck is silly and a lot of fun to play. I've always loved Super Friends decks, but make sure you plan your turns in advance, otherwise your opponents will get annoyed with you. Unless you brought them coloring books, of course. Now, I know that some of you are wondering where Teferi Temporal Archmage is. I deliberately left him out because I didn't want to add infinite activations of the Chain Veil. Sure, it can be fun, but after you've done it a couple of times, the fun factor wears off. But if you want to add it, feel free. But don't forget to swap out some of the land fetches for mana rocks that tap for more than 1 mana, like Thrawn Dynamo and Gilded Lotus. Do you have a Super Friends deck? Who's your favorite Super Friends commander? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to Editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, there's a link to her Fiverr page below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. One of the tiers is specifically set up for Commander. For only $25, I will build you a custom Commander deck based around your specifications, and even do a deck video on it. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Muffins, Marcus, Phoenix of Ice, Squishy, Brett, Roxy, Brian, Josh, Sean, Zach, and Alton. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander deck videos often, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Also, if you're a fan of anime and manga like I am, feel free to check out my other channel, Musings by Danon. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.